So hello and welcome back to the Living Legends podcast. I'm your host for today. My name's Az from Go Again Gaming, and joining me as always, my two favourite content creators in the world of Flesh and Blood. I'm not just saying that because they're the co-hosts of the podcast, but they are really
honored either way.
Yeah, contractually obligated to say that.
Exactly, yeah. That's Bill and Cal. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. How you doing, Bill?
I am doing just fine. I have a crazy one for this week in Fab, but we should get through the intro first before I start saying that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just a quick one then before we go into obviously our weeks in Fab. Who are we and what do we do? Who wants to start first?
I'll do it.
Yeah, go for it.
Hello, my name is Cal, also known as Red Zone Rogue. I make content about card games, mostly Flesh and Blood. I like to say 90%, but I don't know the actual breakdown. But yeah, that's who I am.
Nice.
Basically.
I am the third co-host. My name is Bill from the Spike Feeders. I don't do a lot of my own individual stuff, but God, do I love collaborating.
Hell yeah.
But way to go, isn't it?
But yeah, we have the Spike Feeders, which is Magic content, and then we have the Spike Feeders Fab, which is Fab content. Kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
Fabulous content. Fabulous.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, was that your English sort of quintessential English?
It was my best. Please don't make fun of me.
Yeah.
I can only do like terrible, like stereotypical like Cockney accents. I can't do an actual like British accent. It just sounds so bad.
Are we going to hear it on the podcast today, or?
I don't know.
Hello then, Gal.
Hello, governor.
Oh, brilliant! That's amazing.
Already off the
wow.
rails.
That is a first.
I apologize to Az and every other person who lives on the British Isles. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! I've tried getting that out of you before, but you refused last time. I'm glad that on the 6th episode of the Living Legends podcast, we're finally getting some English from your mouth.
This is the hard-hitting content that people have subscribed for.
I can do like voices and stuff, but they all are like have not aged poorly. Let me put it that way. You make the voices as a kid when you're like 10 or whatever, and then you realize as an adult like, oh, these are like probably bad. I probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah,
but I can like just change into this accent if you want me to use this instead. I don't know how this would really come across. Whether it's what sort of America would.
Yeah. This is
your vowels sound good though. You got the good shift going on there. That's nice.
That's like the radio voice. That's like the West Coast, like no accent accent. Yeah.
I think it's the Hollywood, like growing up watching a lot of films. I think that's where it's sort of adapted.
Like California-ish.
Yeah,
I think so. Mm-hmm. But that was the intro for today. That was a wild one.
Anyway, Flesh and Blood and stuff, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've got a few things to mention for sort of our week in Flesh and Blood. This is just sort of capping off what we're doing, maybe our bits of our content that you can come to expect, and just what we're enjoying in Flesh and Blood at the moment. It might not be relevant to what's going on. It's just what we're doing at this precise moment in time. So who wants to start first on that side of things?
I mean, I like how Bill and I start saying it at the exact same time. Mine's very short, so I can go over mine real quick because it's really short, and then I can just baton pass to you guys. Basically, other than just making content, which is just kind of like my normal stuff, I built 3 commoner decks for Uprising, one for each hero, and that was pretty fun to kind of just go through all of the commoner cards. Most of the decks are actually just Uprising cards, so that's pretty cool for people who are opening Uprising. You can kind of build decent commoner decks, I think, with just Uprising.
Oh yeah.
And I did this just because I finally got my product in. We can talk about that a little bit later, but I finally got some of my product in, opened it up, and I was like, yeah, let's build some commoner decks. And then I, recorded there are going to be videos of deck techs on Channel Fireball that I'm going to be doing. But that's basically what I did, other than opening up said, a case. I opened up a case. But that's what I've been up to.
Well, on common out of the Uprising stuff, then would you say commoner decks are easy to make from these characters then, based on what you've done? Do you think, or are they missing key components? Do you think?
I think they're pretty easy to make. They're not going to be as flashy, and like Dromai, for example, is going to be more token swarm rather than like big dragons.
Because they're all rare plus.
Exactly.
For her.
Yeah, but I think there's enough cards to make it work and make it work probably pretty well. I've only play tested them a little bit. I think Fi is obviously just really easy. You're just jamming a lot of zero cost attacks with Go Again. And he really cares about Draconic chain links in particular, so just you run a ton of cards from Uprising. And then Icelander is probably the hero that uses the most cards out of other sets, in my opinion, that I've done at least. But still not too bad. Like, for example, I got Blue Sift from Everfest, right? And then there's a couple other random blue cards from like Tales of Aria, like ice cards and stuff. But good stuff. I'm really keen to play with them.
Yeah, something that I have actually noticed to lend additional credence to that is I think that sealed and draft are actually made very there's a lot of care put into making sure that the set is good for those specifically. Yeah. Because you look at the ice cards for Icelander, they wanted to make sure that she was still playable, even though a lot of her cards, sort of for her main constructed decks, come from additional formats or other additional sets outside of Uprising. But you still have like the full 3 of just the ice actions. Like you have Frosting and Ice Bolt and the other one.
Yep.
So like you have a ton of options there, and then you also have like the Elemental Wizard actions, and there's a lot of them. Some of them aren't as good, but you just have a lot of options and things to choose from. So it would make sense then that like full Uprising commoner decks, the cards are there. Like you're not necessarily looking for, I need to run Scar for a Scar in this deck because I just don't have enough playables in my Icelander deck,
I think it translates really well, doesn't it?
I think so. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean, we can see and we've experienced that. Obviously, well, you guys have, I haven't yet still, but the draft experience and the sealed experience has been so much better, and that translates to commoner as well. I expect in the card pool and what you can achieve through that as well. So it's in tandem with that, I imagine. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say that. My draft experience personally hasn't been great, but it's because I am not great at draft at all. So
you said you were really a sealed aficionado.
Yeah, I prefer sealed because then I don't have to like sit and think about, something that actually bit me pretty hard when I was in my last draft was I ended up drafting 0 equipment. My deck was good, but I had no equipment.
Oh no!
So and like I just sat against an Icelander, and they were like, "Oh wait, you don't have an Arcane Barrier." I was like, "I sure don't."
Yeah, that's like a kid in a candy store kind of thing. They notice you don't have Arcane Barrier, and they're like, "Ooh, this is gonna be fun for me at least."
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Cool. What about your week in Fab, Bill?
My will in WAB. My week has been pretty good so far. I was able to kind of go infinite at one of my LGSs. I just kept pulling because I was kind of trying to rein myself in for this set. I went really hard on Tales of Aria, and I went really hard on Everfest, and just bought cases of product. And I was like, I shouldn't do that again.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it was like I still want to. It's not that I didn't want to this time around. In fact, I think I like Uprising more than both of those sets maybe combined. It's really cool, and there's lots of really cool stuff.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So it's like it's not that I didn't want to. It's that I felt that I couldn't. So I was like, okay, I bought a couple of cases. I have 2 coming from SCG, actually literally tomorrow, which also sort of wraps itself in the story a little bit.
Yeah.
So I went to my local game store for our Monday night Flesh and Blood event, and I bought a case and with a bunch of store credit also. So it wasn't a bunch of money out of pocket. And then I opened up a bunch of good cards, but then also duplicates that they were buying back for a lot of money. So I ended up selling the duplicates of stuff that I didn't need to get an additional case.
Nice.
And then basically ended up doing that for like the box that they had open for packs. I was like, I would like this one, please. And then basically everything until they only had one box left.
Wow.
But apparently other people also did that at the 2 other LGSs in Winnipeg that have Flesh and Blood product. So like after the filming of this podcast, we are going to be doing a box break stream. And it's, who is it, Kel? It's me, you, Az, obviously. It's the 3 of us, and then Jim from...
Yep, Jim from FAB TCG Cards, and DM Armada.
Yeah. And DM Armada, yeah, and Steven. So yeah, we're doing a box break stream literally after, so I was like, okay, well, I opened all of my product because I have no patience. So now, what do I do for this box break stream? So I went to first of 3 LGSs and was like, hey, do you have any product left? And they were like, no. Awesome. I drove about 20 minutes to another one, and I said, hey, do you have any Uprising product? And they're like, we have Blitz decks. I was like, that's not what I'm looking for, but thank you very much. And I was gonna go to the 3rd one, and then I was like, maybe I just tap out. Maybe I just say I can't because there's just no product in Winnipeg. And then I get a call from the first store again, and he was like, hey, by the way, one of our employees set aside 2 boxes for the draft that we are currently doing right now. And I didn't know that we had them, so we were able to do the draft outside of that. So we have these 2 extra boxes. You were the first one that asked about them. Do you want to buy them? And I was like, yeah, yeah, I do.
Brilliant.
So like that was half an hour before we sat down to start recording this. And now I have 2 boxes to open for the box break tonight.
Yeah, very nice.
Sweet.
All works out in the end, boys.
Yep.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I mean, but Bill is quite the Houdini with regards to, getting to places on time when we've got things scheduled, like the UPF game that we had. I think it was the 2nd one, actually.
I think so,
There was like a torrential snowstorm in Winnipeg, and you had to sort of get back to the studio in time to film, and you somehow managed to do that, even though the snow was sort of 49 meters thick or something.
49 meters.
Maybe. I think that was one of the lighter days, but
yeah.
No, it was really bad. And I mean, if I try to obfuscate how difficult it is to get to the studio from my house, then my brother Jim from the Spike Feeders, you may know him, he will probably give me a hard time. Like, Jim's house is the studio. Jim's house is about, on a good day, like a 2-minute drive away. But the snow was literally so bad that I got stuck in my own driveway after shoveling it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been there.
So yeah, it was just a confluence of snow and bad times.
Yeah. It happens.
All made it.
Life finds a way. It still happened.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, cool. And I think unless you already mentioned your week in Fab, I think you're the last one up here, buddy.
Yeah, not yet. No. So first of all, I was invited to like this fantasy league draft sort of event. So fantasy draft, and it's like there's a few people in there, and basically what it is there's a bunch of creators or podcasters, whatever you want to call them, involved in a sort of draft event for Pro Tour Lille. So we have to sort of choose, I think it's 4 people that we think in the Pro Tour circuit are going to be the best performers, and we get points based on who gets what and what have you. So I'm involved in that, and if you enter the form, you have to pick like a person that you want to back, just because we like to have bragging rights as content creators, right? And how many people we get to our team and what have you. So I definitely want to shout out that, because that's going to be a fun time. So we're all going to be obviously rooting for. I'm going to pick all the Ranger players, obviously, when Pro Tour's on. So any Azalea players that make it, I'll definitely choose those. And you can be sort of in the know that if you're drafted onto my team, you'll be having a great experience, because I've got no experience, basically.
You get the thrill of rooting for the underdog, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But the great thing is, whoever enters, you get assigned a random creator. You don't automatically go onto my team. You basically get allocated a certain creator. So you're then in their team. You can make suggestions as to what Pro Tour player you would back and for what reason. So you can sort of influence the outcome a little bit. But whoever's drafted onto my team, know that you can give me suggestions. I'm not gonna know who to pick and all that sort of thing. So you can really get involved with that process, because I'm not really that sort of meta brain. I just like to back heroes rather than actual players. So if you're on my team, if you've got a hot suggestion, give it to me, because I'm going to need all the help I can get on that. But if there is a ranger, I'll back it. So I just want to obviously point that out. I think it was Flesh and Pod that started the idea. So I did retweet their original tweet. So if you want to get involved and you're hearing this now or in the future, wherever you might be, if you're on another planet, you still want to support us, support the Living Legends podcast. I'm the representative in there for this one. But yeah, go and check that out. It's going to be a fun time. Just thought I'd shout that out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be cool. And another thing that I'm going to be kicking off as well soon with the aforementioned Jim from FAB TCG Cards is a little video series based on Azalea. So Jim has been travelling around places and just putting up little pictures of Azalea here and there, little teasers, as you might say, as to what's coming up. And yeah, we're just going to be doing a little video series every week or fortnight about different aspects of Azalea, how you can play her, what you should do, the equipments and all the cards, and what best defense reactions and all this sort of thing. So there's going to be hopefully fortnightly videos on different aspects of how you can play Azalea. And because I know there's a lot of people out there that love her, so I thought, why not just do a little series on all the aspects of how you can explore her. So it sounds a bit dirty, but yeah, well, who knows? Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. And also, I'm also running my first local event this week on Tuesday. So this is a game store that they stock Flesh and Blood, but they don't have the official support yet. So basically, what my job will be is to go in there and take a load of commoner decks. So I'm glad you said that Uprising is commoner playable, because I want to build some of those tomorrow to bring to that event as well, just so they can play with the new stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned that that's doable, so I can chuck some stuff together. Do you happen to have any lists on that as well?
I can get you lists. I can get you the list that I'm. So like I said, I'm doing deck tech videos for them on Channel Fireball for the next couple weeks.
Okay.
And the deck's already done, so I can get you the lists. Like I said, the Icelander one and the Dromai one tend to use a little bit more cards out of Uprising, whereas Fi is almost entirely Uprising. And I was actually looking through the lists, and I realized I said the wrong card earlier. I said, what did I say? I said Sift or something. I think it's a Magic card. Anyway, the card that I'm thinking of is Pry. It's the one with the head that looks like DM Armada.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, so for example, for Icelander, I use like Snapbacks. I use Scalding Rain because it's a one drop, and I find 1-drops really good because you can a single 1-drop plus a blue pitch card lets you play the 1-drop and then also activate Waning Moon. So I really like 1-drops.
Yeah, that's right.
So I like Snapbacks as well. And then I use the discard one as well. Oh, Winter's Bite and Amulet of Ice from Aria. So there's a little bit of cards out there. And then for Dromai, since the Dromai really cares about reds, and the deck can be take a little bit time to ramp up, I put some defensive cards in there like Sink Belows. What are the other ones? I put like
Fateful Scene and stuff, all the red ones.
Yeah. I put Sink Below, Fate Foreseen. It's not defensive, but I put Whisper the Oracle. I think Whisper is actually like pretty good in Commoner Dromai because it's a red with Go Again that has an effect, and you can also block for 3 with it.
No, yeah, definitely.
And then I put like Scar for Scars, which I guess are in Uprising, but I put Ravenous Ramble in as well. Anyway, so yeah, there's some that you could put in, but I think if you only have Uprising, you could still make a deck.
Okay, no, that's all right then. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be bringing some of the new cards to this event because obviously I want to get everyone dragon hungry, basically.
Yeah.
It's a really cool set, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that as well. So yeah, there's quite a lot of things going on, sort of in Flesh and Blood recently from my side, which is good. But I just spat some stuff for the last 2 minutes there. So yeah, should be I was just like, not seen. I'm not sure if anyone's out there seen Bruce Almighty, but there's a scene in Bruce Almighty where he takes over the newscaster and he just starts just making him make random noises. And I always used to crack up at that.
Oh yeah, that's Steve Carell's character.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh my god, so good.
I believe his name is what? No.
Evan
I was
Almighty.
gonna say Evan
Yeah.
because of the movie, but I was like, wait, is Steve Carell actually in the second movie? I don't remember.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, because there was a spin-off, wasn't there? There was Bruce Almighty, then there was Evan Almighty.
I've
not
not
the same. Yeah.
I've not seen the spin-off. I've only seen the first one.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Anyway,
yeah, wild tangents indeed going on here when Az is the host of the Living Legends podcast. So that's obviously our weeks in Fab, and obviously going on to one of the main things. Obviously, Uprising has finally reached all members of the podcast. Obviously, we've had delays here, there, and everywhere with the product. So everyone has got it now, and you will see. Actually, I was going to say this is a bit of a time Doctor Strange moment here, because while you're listening to this, you can actually go back in time to Kel's channel where we would have already opened at this point the product that we have already received in the past.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can go back and watch it if you've missed it. But yeah, we've all got our hands on products now, which is nice. Finally.
Yeah, so I ordered about a total of 6 cases or so between Forge and Fire, who are a sponsor of my channel, as well as Team Covenant, and I also got the TCG player bundle as part of like a promotion. They sent it to me. So huge thank you to them for sending that out to me. That was really cool, by the way. I forgot about that. I opened up that bundle and did a video on it. I agree with a lot of folks who are saying like the bundle's overpriced, but like the presentation and the quality was really nice.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the box was pretty nice.
Yeah, it's the box, but it has like that Legend Story Studios kind of like pattern on it. If you've ever seen any of the white cards that LSS gives out to folks, or they like write on it, it has kind of like that pattern. It's just very nice. It's very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Half of my product has been, well, I wouldn't say delayed. It's just like slow to get here. So I will not be getting half of my cases until Wednesday, which is the day that this goes live. But currently I got the other half. I opened up, it's just the other half is 3 cases. I opened up one of the cases just to myself, took the day off, had a nice time just watching YouTube, mostly last week tonight with John Oliver while opening up Flesh and Blood cases, and my case was good. It was singular case, not cases. Singular case. But it was a 3 legendary case. 3 legendaries and a Marvel Dracana Optimi, one of the Majestic Dragons. So pretty nice case.
Yeah, no kidding.
if all my cases can be this good, I would be very, very happy and thankful for that. But I have a feeling, I'm going to knock on wood right now, but I have a feeling the case I'm going to open up on stream is just going to be like an absolute crap case because the first one was so good.
Just imagine that. Yeah, we were saying, it's going to be rubbish, but then we're going to open it in a moment. Well, actually, it would have been in the past when you're listening to this. This is getting confusing. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess it's going to be a fun time. Yeah, I mean, so you're opening a case, are you, Kel?
Yeah, I'll be opening a case, and I'll try to pace it so that we all open things up at the same time. So if you've only got like a couple boxes, I'll try to open in double time.
Yeah, sounds good.
I've got 2 boxes, as I mentioned from my story earlier.
Cool. Yeah.
But you have 3 boxes, right?
I got 3. Yeah.
So we have 4, 3, and 2.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now we just need someone with 1 box. We'll see.
It's not going to be Jim, is it?
No, Jim's got an absolute truckload of boxes, like a literal, and then Steven, I don't know how many Steven has. Probably a case. I don't know. We'll see.
He already did a box opening stream relatively recently, right? Like
I think I saw that.
I believe he told me someone dropped off like 6 cases for him. So I think he's got some stuff.
Absolute baller.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think a non-insignificant amount of those are for patrons, because I think he's doing like patron box break kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But
Nice.
yeah.
Cool. So yeah, obviously we got all of our products. Sorry, was you going to say something then? I just rudely interrupted.
No. It's good. It's good.
It was just moving me swiftly along. Nice. So yeah, we've obviously got all our product. So yeah, what is everybody doing with it at the moment? You know, have we got any sort of hot takes as to what cards might be included in other decks, or any sort of builds that we're doing at the moment for any future content, any favorite cards, all that sort of stuff?
Well, I did build those commoner decks. So that's one of the things I did with the product, is I built some commoner decks. That was fun. Everything else, all my shiny stuff is just kind of like, in sleeves, and I'm kind of looking at it, being like, ooh. I have plans for it. One thing of which is our next Ultimate Pit Fight video that we're doing. I'm going to be playing Dromai, so I keep looking at all these shiny Dromai cards, and I'm like, ooh, I got one of the Marvel Majestic Dragons. Maybe I can get all 3 of them, because like that'd be baller. I did get Ghostly Touch, the legendary illusionist arm equipment. And it's the weird one that kind of turns into an attack. It becomes an ally that you can attack with. So I really want to play with that. So spoilers, that's going to be in my UPF deck. So
that's a weird one as well, isn't it? It's just like, is Ghostly Touch meant to be for Dromai, or is it just something being hinted at for the future?
Yeah, well, it cares about illusionist attacks being destroyed if they have Phantasm, but
being destroyed by Phantasm.
The cool part about this is that it just says illusionist attack. It doesn't say attack action card. It doesn't specify what kind of attack. So it does include allies. So it will include those dragons, which is it does work for Dromai at least. And so I kind of see it, at least in my Dromai deck, as like a backup plan, right? So if people are being aggressive and popping all my Phantasms, at least I can punch you with my ghostly fists. So
Ghostly Dragons, what a fantastic deck.
The ghost of sand dragons, because they're basically just like made out of sand. It's
like the Mummy all over again.
Yeah, exactly. giant mummy face coming out of like a wall of sand.
Pile of dragons.
Exactly. Exactly.
So many great films being referenced in this podcast, people.
So we're about. Got to get those pop culture references in here.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
I will say, I think after playing, admittedly not as many games as I would normally like to say before coming to a deliberation like this, but I ended up playing with a copy of Flamescale Furnace in my last armory, because when I mentioned I was going infinite at my LGS, that was one of the cards that I pulled. I pulled a cold foil and a rainbow foil Flamescale Furnace.
Nice.
Wow.
And so I tried it out, and I think that Flamescale Furnace is just okay. I think that it is basically just like a +3 health type deal. Like the fact that it has temper is nice. But I think even looking for opportunities to use it, I only activated it like twice in the entire night that I was playing. So.
And did you net any resources from doing that, or was it just giving you the resources? Well, I guess that's when I look at it and think, well, you have to pay a red to gain a red for each red for each red in your pitch zone. So you have to have that line there, don't you? So
I think each time I was able to go because I had to sequence my turns in a certain way, because I was playing against I played against Ice Lexi, as well as, was there an Icelander? No, somebody else was playing Icelander, but I didn't end up matching up against them. But just the way that my turns ended up, I was able to activate it again, I think a total of twice, and I think it netted me 1 resource each time. But really the only thing I did with it was like use it to attack with the sword. So it was like, it wasn't bad. It was fine, but I think my determination of it is significantly lower than what I initially thought it was. Like, I'm still not upset about it. I just think that it's okay. But on the flip side, I think that Coronet Peak has like unbelievable potential.
I do as well.
Okay. Before we talk about Coronet Peak, I want to talk about the flame scale furnace just a little bit.
For sure.
I think it's really good design. That it's just okay because
I'm pumped about that. Like I'm so glad that it's not a mandatory legendary for people to have.
Yeah, when I think about other legendaries that provide you resources, it's always just one, and it's also just like when you think about it compared to like the most infamous one, Fiendel Spring Tunic. Tunic is one resource every 3 turns.
Yeah.
Which kind of sounds like what Flamescale Furnace is for you, at least, right? Like,
yeah, I would say very comparable, honestly.
But I think Flamescale Furnace has higher upside in the fact that it does block better, right? But also, it has kind of like, I don't know if this is true, like how much this is going to be true. I mean, it's true, but I don't know how much it's going to work in practice, I guess I should say. With a card like Tome of Firebrand. So if you're going super wide and able to draw a bunch of cards, well then you can put those cards and then gain like a ton of resources with your Flamescale Furnace if you've already pitched a bunch.
Yeah, like it does still have a really good, like a big ceiling for sure.
Yeah, so in case people who don't know, Tome of Firebrand is a draconic instant, costs 1 resource, and it says you can only play it if you control 4 or more draconic chain links, and you get to draw 2 cards. So it's a 1 for 2 cards. It's an instant, so it doesn't break the chain, which is fantastic for Fi. And the Flamescale Furnace is what, I don't have a copy of it, but I believe it's you can pay a resource, and then you get a resource for every red card in your pitch zone. Is that what it does?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you need at least 2 in your pitch zone to net 1.
Yeah, if you're pitching a red to activate it, if you already have 1 in your pitch zone, then you end up getting a total of 2, which is nice.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can get up to like 3, that's good. But the only way you can really do that is if you have a lot of cards that you draw stuff, like the Tome of Firebrand. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good line, isn't it? Yeah, definitely, because you pitch the red for the Tome of Firebrand, which then gives you the one in the pitch zone already. You draw 2 cards, and then you play more red things. Obviously, as you said, it's an instant, so I guess that would fill up the Flamescale Furnace. Then you do the big explosive thing again, maybe draw into another Tome of Firebrand and draw more cards.
Yeah. I think. Oh, go ahead.
That's right. Yeah, carry on.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's really explosive if you can get it to work, but I don't know how like Magical Christmas Land that is. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we'll speak about Magical Christmas Land. How pushed is Blood of the Dracai? Let's be honest.
I don't know, actually. I would love to play with it. I mean, if I get one, I'm literally slamming that into my Dromai UBF deck.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. It's an interesting card because it doesn't give you all the resources at once. So like it's just like it drip feeds you, right? Whereas like all the other gems give you 3 resources all at once. This one gives you 4 split across but no other effect. Whereas something like the Arcanite Shard gives you 3 at once but also gives you like a token, whatever value that's worth. I think it's like probably I think it's kind of like how Bill thinks of the Flamescale Furnace. Like, I think when people play with it, it'll be similar to that, where they're like, think it's really, really like busted, but they play with it like, oh yeah, it's just okay.
Yes.
Really?
I think so too. I know that I was very like doomsaying sort of. I brought out all the stops and I had the sandwich board on my shoulders where I was like, yeah, this is crazy, this is ridiculous. But I was actually thinking about this relatively recently, and I think that I'm not entirely convinced that Blood of the Dracai is not pushed, but I also don't think that either of the heroes that can play it right now, Fi or Dromai, I don't know that either of them really benefit from it that much. Because I think that I think that it has like potential. It's a really strong effect because like the other ones, as you said, they give you 3 resources all at once. This one gives you 4 resources spread out. but like that kind of is the effect, that it gives you an additional resource that's like maybe a little bit harder to use in most situations.
Yeah, because like
I didn't think about it that way at all. Yeah, because obviously, as you say, it's the next 4 things. Because you pitch it, you get the red, then obviously it gives you 3 cost reduction, whereas the other ones just simply give you 3. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. To be fair,
and like think about it like realistically, you're gonna to maximize. So like, what do you need to maximize a Blood of Dracai? You need a 4-card hand plus something in your arsenal, like like you need to have like a full grip to even maximize its usefulness, because it's spread across your next 4 things that you do. And you're gonna need to be able to do 4 things, right? Like,
that does also limit how good it can be on the average turn. Like I think on like a fantastic turn, it will be something where if you're sitting across from somebody who is able to get all of the discounts off and like get the maximum value out of it, you're gonna be like, oh, this card is stupid. This card is so good. This is the best Fabled that they've ever printed. But I think when you get that sort of that noise and get like a really good reading on it, I think that it's just okay. Which again is perfect. I don't want a Fabled that is like too good.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is ridiculous. This is once a Fabled becomes a staple, that's when we start having issues." That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know a lot of people have said it. I mean, I'm not really a meta-analysis, so I just wanted to get everyone's thoughts on it, really, collectively.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it this way, too, right? It's reducing the cost of things. In the decks, like, and this is kind of goes back to what Bill was saying, in that he doesn't think it's super great in either Fi or Dromai right now. Like, think about how many 0 costs you're running in Fi. Like,
very true.
Why do you care if your 0 cost is reduced by 1? Like, how many 1-drops are you running in the deck? Like, not a lot. Like, not a lot. Yeah. So, I don't know. You need basically like a 5-card hand and a bunch of like 1-drops to make like use of it, or 1 or 2 drops. But if you have 2 drops, then you're gonna have to pitch stuff to pay for the thing, to make up for it. So I don't know.
Yeah. It just lives in an awkward space where it potentially, again, I think potentially it could be really good, but it's the fact that it is, as you said, Keller, like drip feed, or was it Keller? As either one of you, both of you are very intelligent, and I assume both of you had the same idea. But the idea of Blood of the Dracai drip feeding you resources, does also balance it. If it was just straight up gives you 4 resources, then it's busted, because then Dromai's able to play her big dragons with a single red card, basically. So the fact that it is the next ones, that's like a brilliant way to balance this sort of effect and still make it feel impactful. And again, like, I'm holding out hope that at some point maybe there will be a character that's able to take good advantage of it, but also then maybe not, because then it'll be too powerful, and then all of this analysis will be basically thrown out the window.
I mean, that's another good use case for Tome of Firebrand. Tome of Firebrand is really good with all this stuff. Yeah.
Like just drawing 2 cards at instant speed, as you said, like the fact that it doesn't break the chain is genuinely very relevant for this specific card.
This is going to be a hot take, and I do mean that as a pun, but also I think Tome of Firebrand might just be, I don't know if it's better than Tome of Fyendal, but I think it's one of the best tomes they've ever printed. I think it's super good. It makes some of the other tomes like cry in shame at how bad they are. Like, I
mean, like you compare it to the light tome for Prism. The name is escaping me right now.
Divinity.
Like, Tome of Divinity. Like, it costs 4. It doesn't have the downside of having a restriction on when you can play it, but it costs 4. In Fi and in Dromai, you're able to play Tome of Firebrand. Instead of pitching those cards to draw 2 more cards, you're able to use them as attacks. You're able to whatever. Like, you are able to utilize them to build up your Draconic Chain Links instead of just straight up pitching them. Which it's also kind of a weird thing, because if it was a higher costed thing, then it would maybe feed into Flamescale Furnace too much. Like I'm coming up with all these things that this set is really elegantly designed. I really like it.
I think
This is why I like the set so much.
I legit think it's like their best design set so far.
Yeah.
I really do. Like in a lot of different ways.
Very agree.
Yeah, especially in regards to limited, because I mean that's just what I've seen more so far. But as I look into the cards and think about it more in the greater context of Flesh and Blood, I really do think it's a very well designed set, and that gives me so. I mean, I already have hope, because I'm a basically Flesh and Blood diehard, but it's a really good sign for the future of the game and the sets the sets that they have coming up. So yeah, I love it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a shame we won't have. It's a shame we won't have as much sealed and limited, but it's a bit of a shame. But then saying that, I know we were speaking about. We passed it in conversation earlier, but I very much do like the supplemental sets because of the fact that they give support to everything. All at once. It doesn't matter what setting it's in, whether the next set. Well, I think it has been confirmed now, but obviously the next set will be based in Volcor. The theming will still be the same, but we're still going to get cards that support every class, I imagine, to some degree.
That's their goal. I think they want to better support every class, every other set for like constructed formats, which is really smart for how for the health of the game. In terms of how the game is structured. That also means that some years will have they want to do 3 sets a year. So some years will have 2 supplemental sets, or as they're calling them, expansion sets. 2 expansion sets and 1 main draft set. But that also means the opposite's true. Some years will have 2 draft sets and 1 expansion. So next year, for example, we should have 2 main sets and 1 expansion set. So people who love draft and sealed are going to be eating good next year. So I mean that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I just want to obviously we've discussed quite a few different little bits of synergies and cards and what our thoughts are and stuff. I wanted to just point out that I just can't wait to use Sift in Valda with the Earthlore Bounty.
Which I called the card Sift and I was thinking of Pry. Which one does Sift as?
So this is it's a 0 cost card, comes in all pitches, also blocks for 3, has Go again on it, but the effect is you can either put up to 2, 3, or 4 cards on the bottom of your deck and then draw that many cards.
Seems good.
So yeah, obviously if you got the Earthlore Bounty, obviously it's whenever you play an action card, I think it is, isn't it? During your turn, you get that many Seismic Surges. Yeah, whenever you draw a card from the effect of an action card, create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. So if you play a red one with Valda, you get 4 Seismic Surge tokens and you refresh your hand to then smack him with a potentially free attack plus whatever you play before it. Could be a massive sort of go tall Valda nonsense, which I'm probably going to be building to take to armory events in the future.
Nice.
Just obviously skirmishes rather than obviously she's a young hero. But yeah, I just love that interaction with those cards. So I can't wait to. That's one of my favourite cards is Sift. I think it would be good in other things as well. Just filtering the hand, blocking for 3 resources. Whether you want blue, yellow, or red. I think it's just quite a nice little card. But that's one of my favourites, I think.
Yeah, I think I probably will be putting that into my my Vola UPF deck.
We have somebody on our Discord. His name is Mink, and he has been all about Valda for a while now. I think basically since she got revealed. And he has just been foaming at the mouth to get foil Sifts for Valda. To the point where myself and Kaylee, actually today when I went to our first LGS to see if they had these boxes, I actually dropped off 2 of my blue foil Sifts, and she's going to be sending them off to him.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I swear I had someone say that on one of the things I posted on Twitter recently about Sifts. I can't remember what it was on though.
It may have been Mink, honestly.
Yeah, it probably was then. I'm just trying to find it, but it eludes me for now. So I like to shout people out that get involved with obviously the podcast in various levels, of course. I think that's a nice card. Anyone else have any sort of favourites that they like off the top of their head? Any favourite arts or anything?
I think Bill started to mention before I cut him off, and then we got on a tangent about other things. Bill mentioned Coronet Peak. If you want to talk about that, Bill.
Yes, I did mention that. I think I haven't had as much experience playing with it, but just theory crafting, I really, really like what Coronet Peak can do, because essentially it fits into control style decks, obviously, because it's an ice card, so it goes into currently Lexi, who admittedly would not want to play it because it's that or New Horizons, and but then you also have Oldhim and Icelander, who do very much appreciate slowing the game down, and I think that Coronet Peak basically turning all of your opponents into Data Doll in one way or another, like, is just kind of powerful, especially because it's repeatable. So yeah, it is one of those things though where it's a control piece in decks that may not necessarily have a great way to actually end the game. So it could just lead to games being elongated, which isn't as great. But I like what it does, and I do think that a control strategy can find success. But right now, most of the decks are tuned to just be a very aggressive form of deck.
Yeah.
But in terms of, design of legendaries, I think that it's just about the same as I like it more than Flamescale Furnace, but that's not to say that I think it's necessarily more powerful. I think it's something that we definitely want in the game, because control strategies do, I think, need to exist to be able to rein in stuff like, if there's another Briar down the line, or
Fi.
Well, yeah,
Fi.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's necessary to be able to rein those types of decks in and have, maybe an efficient way to slow them down. And I think that Coronet Peak fits in basically exactly with what Icelander wants to do. Maybe less so Oldhim, but I could still see it.
But I love this effect. I've actually mentioned it a few times. Not sure whether it's been on this podcast in particular, but I just love effects that make people discard cards, especially in this game, because your hand is so valuable. It's your blocking potential, it's your pitch, it's your resources, it's your attacks. Discarding cards from hand I think can be, I don't know whether it's right now or not, but could be, or can it be? Let us know. But discard effects, I think, are so interactive in this game that if you stack them up, and as you say, if you turn someone into Data Doll, you play your turn and somehow have the ability to activate Coronet Peak at the end of your turn as the last thing that you do, they then have to then play with a Data Doll. They have to then become Data Doll. So yeah, I think that, again, that whole legendary piece of equipment there, it sort of this is what I like about it as well, is it sort of creates entirely new lines of play that you can then play with. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I do like the fact that discard effects, I think, are very underrated, and I want to see more of it. Like you say, control strategy, stripping from hand, I think can be very powerful. Maybe not right now, but in the future.
I think in Icelander it's good. Just because it's a very simple line of play. You activate Coronet Peak on your turn. It could be the only thing you do. Then you arsenal blue card past your opponent's turn, and then do a bunch of crap on their turn.
And then they just have fewer ways to deal with it, or fewer ways to just aggro you. Like it, I like it a lot. It does still give your opponent, the agency, because it's like, well, they can either discard a card or they can pay a resource to whatever. So sometimes you'll get a little bit stymied by them maybe using their Spring Tunic counter, but then they don't have a Spring Tunic counter. Like it's I think it's a card that can be very impactful, if not maybe a little bit annoying. But
I love what Kel said there, though. You could just literally, if you got nothing else to do on your turn, or if you want to save cards to play on your opponent's turn, you can just make them discard or make them pitch, so they effectively have to pay over 3-card hand, upon your assault on their turn, which I think is a fantastic way. If you've got 2 cards in your hand, you arsenal one of them, and you just activate the Coronet Peak. I think more actions on equipment that allow you to do those sort of things to regain a bit of tempo when you've got nothing in hand, I think is a nice design space. So yeah, I definitely like what you said there about that. I didn't think about that at all.
And also it has art from one of my favorite Flesh and Blood artists, Soyame. She's awesome. And
tops it all off, doesn't it? Absolutely.
I literally emailed her, I want to say, I don't know, 5 days ago or so. I don't know, a little bit ago. And I was like, I every time a new set comes out, I ask her if she has artist proofs and if she's going to do like sketches, and she always does. And so I did my routinely thing and was like, hey, she goes by, prefers to go by Irene. I'm like, hey, Irene, are you going to have any artist proofs for Uprising? I'm really looking forward to getting some of yours. And she's like, yeah, I don't have them yet. So Coronet Peak is one of them. And then the other one is Heat Wave. I'm very much looking forward to getting some spicy artist proof sketches of both of those, because they're both beautiful cards. So yeah.
Which other ones has Irene done then?
Okay, so she's done Code of Frost from from Tales of Aria. She's done some that you wouldn't expect, because like a lot of the ones we're talking about have like pretty girls on them, but she's also done Doomsday, with all the skulls and the throne of blood.
Oh, really?
She's done Bounding Demagon.
So terrific art as well then.
Yeah. Because I have artist proofs of both of those, of the Doomsday and Bounding Demagon from her. Yeah. And she's done a bunch of other ones too. Those are just the ones that come to mind. But she's one of my favorite Flesh and Blood artists. She has a wide range in like tone and kind of, I don't want to say styles, but kind of for her art. I think it's fantastic. So.
Oh yeah, from going from Coronet Peak to Bounding Demagon, that's the frost plains of Aria to the bounding pits of hell with chain, isn't it? So it's fantastic scope there.
Yeah. And for like the artist proof requests, I will say like most artist proof sketches are not cheap, and that's true for Soyme's. But she does absolutely amazing sketches. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the ones that I got from her, but they are so good. And she's the one who did she did a couple like Genshin Impact characters. Because I mentioned when I first talked to her, I was like, hey, I really like your art. I really like your Genshin Impact fan art and what you do for Flesh and Blood. And then we talked about the artist proofs, and then it came up and she's like, oh, what do you want on there? And I was like, I'm not sure. She's like, I'll do some Genshin Impact characters for you. I'm like, yes, do it. Nice. As well as some like Flesh and Blood characters too. So good stuff. I always love supporting the artists, and Soime is one of my favorite ones. I'm glad they keep using her.
Yeah, they do knock it out of the park with the art and what they've selected to do it, haven't they? So it's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah, there's a few other bits. The obviously Armory kits have been released for Armory events, which are obviously nice little pieces for people to pick up, especially from the aforementioned fantastic art from the set. Loads of flaming stuff going on. I think we got in the Armory kits, we've got the Uprising card art, as well as the Rise from the something art. I can't remember what it's called.
Let me take a look at the thing because I don't have it pulled up.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's like. It was the art that everybody thought was a character, like the ninja with the two arms out.
Rise from the Ashes. Is that what it is?
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
I
love that art. That one's great.
Yeah, I think everyone thought it was a character when they first saw it. Didn't
I
they?
wish it was. I wish it was. No offense to Phi. I think Phi's awesome, and I think Sam Yang did an absolutely brilliant job doing the art for Phi. But I kind of want white-haired ninja waifu as a character.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Not gonna lie. Yep.
Yeah. All members of the Living Legend podcast can equate to that.
I mean,
give us it. So yeah, we got two nice playmats there. We got what else is involved in here? We got the cold foil Ember Blade. Can't read it. Searing Ember Blade, isn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be nice to pick up if you are running those sort of decks. And I've got the was it? Well, I can't.
It's Rise Up.
Rise Up. That's it. Rise Up.
Yep.
So 32 Rainbow Falls, I think, are being given to the stores that are getting the Armory events, as well as some posters as well. And I think the posters are always good to try and get off your local game store to decorate your studio or your room, whatever sort of space you sort of spend a lot of your time in. Probably more time than you should do, I might add.
I asked my LGS, I was like, hey, do you have any like leftover posters? And he's like, oh yeah, we were going to throw them away. Here you go. And I just got a big old stack of them. So,
Same here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice little armory kits that obviously being sort of released with obviously the Uprising release, of course, and then we have the Battle Hardened event in Portland. Where I thought I would
hell yeah.
I thought I would sort of shout out just in case you were going or had any plans to, or what you were doing there.
Yeah. I wish it was a calling, but Battle Hardened's all right too. So I will be going on one of the days. I think that's my plan. I'm not really into a lot of competitive constructed formats. Even though I do casting and coverage for the U.S. Flesh and Blood tournaments. I like limited more. So I'm gonna go on Sunday for the limited event. I think it's a skirmish on Sunday. Yeah, skirmish event on Sunday, and it's going to be a sealed deck. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah. So
cool. What about you, Bill? Have you got any sort of events that you're going to at all, or?
I was going to be going to our Road to Nationals event, but it needs to be judged, of course. And another judge wanted to play in it more than I did. I was interested in playing, but of course ours is draft, and I was like, I'd probably just scrub out anyway. So instead, I'll just sit around and answer questions and watch people play instead.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we'll be doing that, and then there's another event on I think the 17th, because our Road to Nationals is next Sunday, which is exactly a week from today. And then there's the 17th, which I think we're going to be having Classic Constructed, which will be nice because a lot of our events kind of default to Blitz around here, which isn't bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but we have a lot of people that are wanting to play CC anyway. So I'll probably be doing that, and tomorrow is going to be the most recent event, like the nearest in chronological order event that I'm going to be going to, and I think I'm going to try Blitz Dromai.
Ooh, nice.
For some reason, it's just calling to me right now, and I feel like I want to try it out. So
nice.
Yeah, I've tried a few games with the cards that I've got, albeit there was no Majestics or anything. It was more like sort of commons and rares and stuff. And I think in Blitz, you have to, with Dromai, you do have to be like, I take 8 damage on my turn just so I can not lose anything, and build your board state up, because there's a lot of building your board state up in Dromai. I think I haven't had too much experience with it. People could correct me, but I felt like I had to take a lot of damage, and I was playing a brute, to be fair, and obviously they just want to smash your face in. They don't care about the dragons. So maybe it was just a bad matchup. I think, it is a bad matchup, isn't it? Let's be honest. They break your phantasms and stuff, don't they? Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a tough matchup then.
But I think you're right, though. I think you want to put a bunch of defensive cards, defense reactions, and the like in your Dromai deck. Yeah. So I think you should be running like I said, Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, maybe Sand Cover, that kind of stuff. So you can build up your dragons.
Nice. Have to note that then, Bill, for Blitz.
Yeah.
Cool. I think I might be going as well to I think I might be going to a Road to Nationals event as well at the end of the month, 24th of July. It's a classic constructed event up in Leeds sort of area in the UK. So it's a bit of a journey. So I might be able to go, I might not be able to go. We'll see. But that's the one I'm aiming to go to. And that's classic constructed. Ideally, I do want to try and go, because obviously I'm going to the Lille calling event, and I do want to be, doing as well as I can, so trying to get experience in against people that are obviously taking it a little bit more seriously than usual. Hoping to get down to that and give the Azalea deck just a battering, of course. Loving life.
Yeah, bank on the fact that no one will know how to play against Azalea, because no one's tested.
I'm hoping that people obviously are building decks that don't care about blocking. And even if I run into a lot of Oldims, I think the Dreadbore and sort of Release Attention, Remorseless sort of stuff is still going to get through Oldim. I'm not really fussed about the Oldim matchup. I'm more.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm just banking on the fact that it's literally all aggro, that people just want to play multiple cards on their turn. So I'm hoping that Red and the Ledger is just going to shut them down. So I managed to most of the time get that dominated getting that dominated on hit through all the time is the aim of the deck, really. Memorial Grounds and all that sort of thing.
Is it CC or Blitz?
CC.
That makes it a little more tough. I think Gazelle is better than Blitz.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, Remorseless is really good for that kind of stuff, too. Punishing their actions that they do. Pretty good.
Yeah. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to go and get some practice in and report back maybe on a future podcast if I go. But yeah, that'll be good. But apart from that, I mean, that's pretty much the sort of brief for today. I know we've gone off on wild tangents, but that's just fantastic. We love that, don't we?
Well, we do have a question from fantastic Flesh and Blood content creators. You want me to say the question, or do you want to do it as?
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, go for it.
All right. So this is from Fabrica. I would consider them, content creator friends. They do great content. Their question is, what would our superpowers be if we were superheroes? And this was in reference to a picture that Az made of us as the boys, but also as the boys. So yeah, what do you guys have an answer for this? Like, what were your superpowers be? I've been thinking, and mine's kind of I don't know if it's a cop-out answer, but I do have an answer. Do you guys have answers?
I will let you go first.
Okay. I'll give my answer. My answer is, and like I said, I think this might be a cop-out one, but it's technically a power that's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I'm gonna take it.
Okay.
I want wizard powers. Like, I want to be a wizard. Like, just make me a wizard, because Doctor Strange can do a bunch of cool shit. He can, like, fly. He can do other stuff. I'm not going to spoil, like, the movie, but he can do a lot of other stuff. And, that's my answer. Give me wizard powers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange just can alter the fabric of reality, can't he? You know, it's just whatever he thinks of doing, he can pretty much do. I actually haven't seen the actual Doctor Strange, the recent Doctor Strange film yet. I completely missed it in the cinema. It's
been controversial among folks. Some people say that it's bad. Some people really like it. I, as a big Sam Raimi fan, someone who loves Evil Dead, I love it. So I think if you like Sam Raimi films, you're gonna really be into it. It's very tonally different than a lot of other Marvel movies. It's pretty tonally different than even the last Doctor Strange movie. It is available on Disney Plus or whatever, so if you have that, you can watch it.
Oh, is it on there now, is it?
Yeah, Robin and I watched it like last weekend.
Sweet. That's on this weekend then.
The
weekend's over, damn it.
We both really enjoyed it, and all I'll say is, like, you can tell it's a Sam Raimi film. Just watching it, you can tell. So,
nice.
Yeah,
I know we're getting into sort of Arsenal step territory here with regards to the tangents that we're going on, but there was a horror director attached to it before Sam Raimi came in. Scott Derrickson was attached to it before.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was he's known for doing some outrageously horrendous horror films. Very very disturbing ones. So so that's interesting that Sam Raimi's got it.
Yeah, there's some cameos with actors that you'll recognize if you are into Sam Raimi stuff. So I'm not going to spoil any more than that, but there you go.
Cool, nice. So superpowers would be wizard. Mine would be if we're going along the lines of generic superhero sort of style things rather than stupid answers, which I did have. I was going to say I want the power to turn any card into a red in the ledger.
Oh damn!
So, so you can do that, and then if you throw the card, it explodes. There you go.
Yeah. So you get a hint of Gambit in there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So all of your flesh and blood cards just turn into energy charged cards that can just knock out your opponent.
Yeah, you rest your hand upon your opponent's deck, and then they pick up their deck, and it's all red in the ledger, every single card.
Brilliant.
And then it explodes. Good. That's so good.
Brilliant. And they can't even play them because they don't have a bow either, so unlucky. So even if they wanted to play after being blasted in the face, they can't play it. They don't control a bow. So.
I kind of want to make that into a skit, and no one would understand what the hell we're talking about. Oh, it's so good.
Fantastic.
What's your other answer? What's your other answer?
My sensible answer in the world of fantasy would probably be flight. Just being able to fly anywhere at any time, just so I could go and visit you guys. You know.
Oh, that'd be cool. It's a long flight. You'll need to bring some snacks.
Well, if I had like supersonic speed, like Superman style, I could just go.
Oh, okay.
Just like straight over the Atlantic Ocean. But yeah, I think flight. I think I'm just one of those sort of free-spirited people that would love to do anything at any time if I had the sort of time and resources. So I think being able to fly anywhere, or teleportation, like the film Jumper, for instance, being able to teleport anywhere at any time as long as you knew where it was, I think would be my sort of power. I think.
I dig it.
Yeah.
What about you, Bill?
So, still a good question. I don't even know. Honestly, I think as weird as it is, just based on the fact that I don't do anything ever, I've always found Wolverine's regenerative, regeneration factor just super cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
And maybe then I would actually go out and do cool stuff because it's like, whatever. I can, even if I get reduced down to a single red blood cell, I can just be fine.
yeah, I guess.
Oh, yeah, he literally survives anything, doesn't he? You know, you fly into the surface of the sun and be like, oh yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, if you actually check out some of the times that he's like quote unquote died in actual in the comic books, it gets pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I would love in the comments of this video for someone to give us one of those references when Wolverine nearly died, but it came back.
I can think of one, but I don't remember if it's Wolverine or Deadpool, who kind of both have the same power.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I remember one of them, like Bill said, they basically just get reduced to like chunks. And it's like a chunk floating in space, and then they regenerate from like the floating space chunk. Like it's like a piece of flesh or something. And it's like, what the hell?
Something about it just super cool to me.
Yeah.
That's a good one. There we go, Fabrica. We answered your questions fairly well, I believe. But just imagine if you put all of those superpowers together, you'd have a fantastic hero.
Now we pose the question to Fabrica, if they are watching. Fabrica, what is your what are your superpowers? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, in the comments, wherever you might want to put it.
Or you can tweet us. You can tweet us.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. And it's been wild tangents aplenty. So we could, of course, have an Arsenal step if we wanted, but I think we have Arsenaled it all day long today.
Yeah, you got an Arsenal at the end of your turn, right?
There, yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody else has anything to sort of share before we sort of close it off today, then that's fine. But if not, we have, as always, had a fantastic time today. So if anyone else has anything to say, then go for it.
I do not. I am ready and eager to open up this case that we're going to be streaming in a little bit, and you can watch right now. That has already been streamed. So after you listen to this, you can go watch it.
Yeah, if you haven't already, which you should. And you should, absolutely.
And if you have already, let us know. Got to get that YouTube interaction. Exactly,
yeah. I can't wait to open the boxes, which, if you're watching this or listening to this at this point in time, we would have already opened.
You will know that I pulled 2 Fableds in my case.
Oh, just manifest it right now.
I'm doing it. You got to call it, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
I like it a
lot. Yep.
That's pretty much it. So, thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in now or in the future. And check out the Uprising video, which will be available now. Sorry, it's confusing. Available now to watch for our pools, which we're very much looking forward to in a moment after this. I have been Az from Go Again Gaming, your host for today. You can find me on Go Again Gaming on YouTube and at Go Again Gaming AZ on Twitter, which is where I spend a lot of my time at the moment. As I mentioned earlier, got a lot of cool things coming up. So please go and do that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Who's next?
You know what? I'll go next. I gotta,
sorry, I just sort of sputtered out all my stuff and then just left it open. I thought one of you would jump on it, but
I
you
mean-
didn't, so I prompt you.
I was like, I'm gonna let Bill do it, but I don't know how awkward this is gonna be if I just don't
Yeah.
say anything.
No, I mean, at some point we'll be able to transition into this a little bit
Absolutely.
smoother, but
part of the
today is
charm.
not that day, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I am Bill from the Spike Feeders. You can find me on Twitter at BillTSF, and you can find content of mine that I do through my, our channel, the Spike Feeders, at the Spike Feeders FAB on YouTube. We also do have just the Spike Feeders, and it's Magic the Gathering content. If you're interested in that, you can check that out as well. But
Yeah.
if you're looking for Flesh and Blood stuff, Spike Feeders FAB is the way to go.
Hell yeah. Hello, my name is Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue. You can find me at Twitter at Red Zone Rogue, youtube.com/Red Zone Rogue, and also on Instagram and Facebook at Red Zone Rogue. I also have a website, redzonerogue.com, where I sell merch and whatnot. I only mention that because I have my playmats are back in stock. They've sold out twice, but I have them back in stock. Same with some sleeves and some brand new Red Zone Rogue cardback sleeves, which I just got in a couple days ago that I'll be doing a video about. That will probably have already come out by the time this comes out. But anyway, go check that out too.
Yeah.
Go check that out too. Yeah.
Nice. Fantastic. So yeah, lots to look forward to now, or in the future, or in the past. It's been one of those podcasts today where there's just content coming out all over the place.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Space-time continuums. But wherever you might be watching out there in the big wide world, thank you very much for tuning in today, and we will see you on the next Living Legends podcast. Thank you very much, people.
See you later.
Thank you so much.
Peace.